chat that matters. Wow, what a weekend of rugby we got ahead. If you missed it, we did the Sydney 7 show. That was at 7 o'clock tonight. You can go onto our YouTube channel to watch that. We've also got a podcast, and we'll also have a podcast of this show as well, probably within about 15 to 20 minutes after we've finished. We've got so much rugby to talk about. I'm not going to waste any further time introducing the guests. We've got 7 Super Rugby matches, and we've got 3 Six Nations matches as well. So let's start off then with Oracle Rugby. Oracle, you've had a bit of a sabbatical from betting. Great to have you back. Dare I say, you look like you've lost a few kilos. I hope that's not because you couldn't afford food.
No, Brent. Yeah, I'm down to 82. So for those who know me, my worst was probably about 4 or 5 years ago. I was at 95. Never hit the 3 digits. 95. I looked at the scale, said, got to do something. So yeah, I'm not much of an exerciser, but I've got a bit of a tennis club going at work, and that's on a Thursday evening. So I'm still in my tennis kit. Haven't hit the shower yet. Having a glass of wine, and good to be back. And listen, for those who've never taken a sabbatical, I tell you what, it's the best thing you can do. My last rugby bets were the sevens in Cape Town. I ended up a bit flat. In fact, I think I lost a little bit. I had a couple of racing bets after that. I backed South Africa in the cricket match in the first test against England. I didn't get involved in the second one or after that. And, I had a couple of small bets, but honestly, I didn't make any deposits. Took a proper break, ready to go this weekend. Personally, though, this year is going to be a bit more expensive for me with regards to school and some other stuff. So my punting budget is a little bit lower. But yeah, raring to go and looking forward to it. Yeah, it's exciting.
Right, I'm just telling Henrik that I can see him in studio there. But first, let's say hello to Couch Critic. Couch, good to have you on the show. I know you did a Monday night show, non-betting related, with Tyler and Unbiased Rugby. That was a good listen, but you must be getting very, very excited to sink your teeth into this, and a top-class preview, dare I say, on Good for the Game for Bet Olymp as well.
How's it, Brent? Thanks. Yeah, 2 shows done already in the last couple of weeks, so definitely Super Rugby, keen for it, and glad it's finally here. Can't believe it's tomorrow, it's happening already. And as of Oracle, I also took a good break, or by break, I mean I just focused on cricket, so it was good getting back to the rugby now.
Excellent. And joining us just a few minutes late, if he's anything like Sean, he's been looking after his kids as well, Henrik Swart. Henrik, good to have you on the show, and I know you're absolutely raring to get go. I saw on Gary's show you say, let's hit the bookies hard and let's hit them early.
Yeah, Brent, I've been battling along since the World Cup, trying to play an ordinary skill rugby, but I'm not that good up on that. Really looking forward to the Super Rugby, and I have a few strong fancies on the first weekend. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait for tomorrow at 8 o'clock.
Excellent. Well, the boys are singing the praises of Oracle Rugby. He's at least a chin less than when we last saw him, and I think he actually handed that one over to me, if I've got to be totally honest as well. Welcome as well to the guys who are watching on Facebook. Dan van Straten watching on Facebook there. Makes the Bulls a good bet. Fat Exorcist, who I always thought was from New Zealand, but he isn't. He's also there. So looking forward to this, guys. We've got lots of rugby to chat about. So I'm not going to waste any time. Let's get straight into Super Rugby. We've got the game tomorrow morning. And Couch, let me get started with you. It's the Blues up against the Chiefs. There's been betting line movement during the week. We opened at +5.5 Blues. I see generally around the +2.5 mark. News that Damian McKenzie as well is out for the Chiefs. How are you playing this one?
Brent, I found this one a little bit of a strange one. Everywhere I've seen, everyone's been backing the Blues, which obviously isn't new, but that coming from a lot of people who are backing the Chiefs to win the tournament. So I don't know, something's a bit weird there. Obviously, the Chiefs have got a few youngsters in there, and Crusaders not starting and that kind of thing. But we expected these kind of teams, and the Blues as always trying a few new things. But I think it's pretty even Stevens. But in the past, the Blues have had a knack of just losing these tight games by a few points, and this could go either way in a close. That 7-pointer kind of margin might be a good one, but I think I'll start this season like I do anyone, and that's just not backing the Blues. The Blues won't see my money.
Right, no money on the Blues for you. Yeah, I can't blame you really. I actually took a bet. I did the preview on Good for the Game, and I've gone for the Blues to lead at halftime. I'm expecting their fast start, but I'm not so sure that they're gonna sustain it. Let's go over to Henrik now. And
Brent, so my play it's almost like yours as well, but I'm going Blues and then Chiefs. So Blues to lead at halftime, Chiefs to win the game. I think I got 11-2 as my main punt. It's on Bet Olymp at 5-1 at this stage, but that's where I'm going for interest, and then obviously I'll share my try scorers probably at the end as well.
Half time for them. Yeah, we'll come back to you to wrap up the try scorers. Let's go to Henrik now. Henrik, what do you think of this one?
I'm not one of those that got onto the Blues early on, and I'll still not, even if you gave me the +5.5 now, I would not take it either. I'm not on the Blues here. I'm not sold on either of these two starting teams. I expect a good season from the Chiefs, and I'm a big Warren Gatland fan, so I like him being at the Chiefs, so that's why I like the Chiefs this year. But I think the way to go here is to take the Chiefs to win the second half. At Sunbet, it's just under 17 to 20. I think that's a great price with Aaron Cruden, Brad Weber especially, and Anton Leonard Brown also especially. Those are two great players coming on. They'll probably come on at half time because they can play 40 minutes under the protocols for the All Black. So I'm expecting a strong second half by the Chiefs. So I think the correct bet here is Chiefs to win the second half at about 17 to 20.
Chiefs to win the second half at 17 to 20. Let's go to Oracle Rugby. Oracle, what do you make of this opener? Are you going to be keeping your powder dry or coming out firing?
Brent, I'm absolutely not interested in this game. I think I'm on a minus with the Blues all time. I don't think I've made money in the last, or in fact, I know I didn't make any money on them the last couple of years. In fact, if it wasn't for the Jaguares beating this team at home 2 years ago where I really cleaned up, I'd probably end up being a double-digit minus with the Blues. Every year, Brent, most of us, I'm going to say not all of us, but most of us have been excited about the Blues going into the season. I think Henrik's 100% right here. Warren Gatland's going to make a big difference at the Chiefs. Whether it'll happen in the first game or not, we'll have to see. But honestly, I'm not touching this game. I'm not even touching it in a multiple. I'm going to be at work tomorrow morning. I'll watch a bit of it, and I'll catch up a little bit of it later on Friday after the Sharks game. But honestly, I got nothing for anybody on this game. I wouldn't even know where to go here. Really, it's an absolute toss-up for me. Like Henrik said, you gave me +7.5. Never mind +5. You gave me +7.5 Blues. I'm not interested. You give me +5.5 Chiefs. I don't even know what to do there either. I really don't know what to do here. It's really tough. Probably the hardest game of the weekend.
Well, I can tell you one guy will have an opinion on something is Couch Critic, because this man loves his first try scorer bets and that. So, Couch, we've spoken now about the handicap and the outright. What have you got for us in what I call the exotic markets?
Brent, Heinrich mentioned him earlier there. It's Brad Weber, last try scorer. He's a fantastically nippy scrum off, and he's going to come. It's probably between him and Anton Leonard Brown for me, but Weber is just that extra X factor. So I think the Chiefs are going to finish strong. So they're going to score the last try, and Brad Weber to be the man at 18 to 1 is a very nice price with Bet Olymp.
There's a little bit of interference on the line. I keep muting everyone to try and figure out who it is. So, guys, if I can ask if you're not talking, just mute yourselves just in case. I'll do the same there as well. Let's go on to the next game, and I want to start off now with Oracle Rugby. We've got the Brumbies up against the Reds. There has been some support from what I can see, but not really enough to shift the handicap on the Reds plus. But really, there's different camps here. I see the conductor on the Good for the Game forum, Brendan Vessels. He's going against the grain, he says here, for the Brumbies minus. I think he said he was going to go for it. Gavin, what are you doing on this one?
Yeah, I'm a Reds punter here, Brent. Very small. I'm taking the Reds plus. If the price does get a little bit bigger, I did miss the earlier price. I may even have a little go at the Reds to win the game. Just a bit of value for me. Australian derby. I don't expect too much here. The Brumbies obviously can win this game. I'm really not getting too involved here. Small Reds plus for me. I'm not very confident.
Right, so small red. So we at the moment, if you're watching 2 out of 2 that Oracle's not too confident, I can tell you I've known this man for many, many years. There's no ways he's going to go through 7 games without saying fire, fire, fire. Henrik, I think I know where you're leaning on this one.
Yeah, Brent, I posted, I think it was in the morning when the teams came out. I posted on the Good for the Game forum. I like the Reds strong. I like them to win the game. When I didn't go through all the betting earlier in the week or even last week, so I saw that after I saw the teams yesterday morning, I went and I had a look at the betting for the first time, and the handicap was much bigger than I was expecting. I didn't expect to convert the try here. So I'm expecting the Reds to win the game, obviously. So I like the plus very strong here. It's one of my better bets of the weekend, and I took some 24-10 for the Reds to win the game as well, and I'll still take the 2-1 at the moment as well. I would have thought that the betting would have shifted more. It's probably guys that like the Brumbies from previous years, and you can't argue against it. That the Brumbies has always been a successful Australian team, but I don't like the look of the team. They look a bit weak to me, and I like the Reds team, and I like a guy like Pataya in the centres. I'm expecting a very good season from him. So yeah, this is one of my stronger bets, the Reds on the plus here.
Excellent. Well, Dan van Straten just asking if you can talk a little bit louder. I can hear you, Henrik, but you are probably a little bit fainter than the other guys. So Henrik will come a bit closer to the mic there. Critic, we haven't asked your opinion on this game.
Brent, it's going to be really exciting to see this Reds team. I think they can really surprise us and put in a few good performances. And as Henrik said, there are really a few guys, James O'Connor and Bataya in the centres there. That could be electric, Spike moving over. So they've definitely got a creative backline. But the question is just whether those forwards can lay the platform. And the Brumbies have pretty much got that down to a T to really just strategically manage a game. And I think they'll probably at the end of the day just secure an arm wrestle. So to me, it's 1-12 or 1-10, depending on how confident you are in that market on the Brumbies. I think they'll just sneak or get away to sneak a win there.
Right. Well, anything else? Anybody got anything else on Friday morning's games? Can we move on to Friday night? Excellent, Henrik. I'm going to start with you this time then. We got the Sharks up against the Bulls. There was some movement. The Sharks, I think there was some 7-10 available at Hollywood a little while ago. That son of a punt who won absolute fire in the sevens last week together with Sean Nicholas. By the way, we have done a sevens preview, so do look for it on our YouTube channel for the first round of matches. We got Sean and son of a punt on that. But they took the 7-10, and I see, generally speaking, around about the 5-10 mark Sharks, and the handicap 4.5 points Sharks favourites, Henrik.
Now, Brent, as you know, I like the Sharks here. I fancy the Sharks for a strong season, especially with one of my favourite coaches, Brent Graham, being involved there. The Bulls team doesn't look that bad. I saw the Bulls team and it looks all right, but with the conditions, it's going to be tough conditions. It's about 30 degrees. Gavin will just tell us now. He lives there. It's going to be very hot, and it's going to be very humid, and it's going to be sticky conditions, lots of ball handling. And the Sharks have trained in that conditions for the past 2 months, so they would be used to it. And the Bulls, they're coming from altitude. I think the conditions are going to suit the Sharks. I like the Sharks here. I like them. I'll take the minus on them, -4.5 currently. But yeah, that won't be my big bet on this one. This is a huge unders game. I see Shane just mentioning me about the unders. This is a huge unders game. I'm really looking forward to seeing the points here. I'm going to take the total points unders and unders on Bulls points here. I think this is a great unders game.
Sorry, I muted myself. I haven't seen any points lines, Henrik. Have you?
No, I haven't. No, it's not out yet. But anything over 40, I'll take unders here.
You'll be coming unders. Right, let's go to the man down in Durban now and get Oracle's opinion on this one. Oracle, 2 quiet games for you. I'm not interested. Are you interested in this one, Oracle?
Absolutely, Brent. This is the game of the week, the bet of the week. I'll play tennis down in Durban North on a Thursday. I was down on the court at 5 o'clock this afternoon. I've got to tell you, I was sweating before I even got on the court. Henrik's 100% right. Humidity's probably at super max at the moment. And, I don't know if anyone's going to be able to handle the ball. It's going to be slippery. I tend to agree with them that it'll be low scoring, and that's only because the Sharks won't score many points. I think the Sharks are the wrong favourite here. For me, this is absolute super max. The Bulls are going to teach the Sharks a lesson tomorrow. You'll see Donovan, he's been telling me all week at the office about the Sharks. And in fact, the guys have invited me to the box tomorrow, telling me that I have to support the Sharks. I said, no, thank you. I'll watch it at home. I'll be reaching for the Bulls. I think what I like here quite a lot is the fact that Potty Human has gone for a 6-2 split like Rassie Erasmus. What really interested me is that the Bulls have got Josh Strauss. He was fantastic for the Lions. Obviously, went over to Scotland, played for Scotland I think he played 15 times. I'm just really impressed with this Bulls team. I watched that little superheroes. I know you don't take anything from that. I don't either. But I was impressed. And listen, the Sharks haven't beaten the Bulls in Durban, I think, in 6 or 7 years. In fact, my kid was at primary school the last time they won this game. I don't know. I think there's massive value in the Bulls. I've taken, never mind the plus here. I managed to get 16 at 10 earlier. This is the bet of the weekend for me, probably the bet of the next 2 weeks. I'm all over the Bulls here. I've got nothing for the Sharks. I think this Everett guy, he's done a good job with under 19s and some local club rugby. I think this is a big step up for him. I don't know if he's ready for it. I wasn't impressed with him in the Curry Cup. In fact, I've seen the Sharks in the Curry Cup for 2 of the last 3 seasons, and last year wasn't one of them. I think if you've put a lot of money on the Sharks here, you might want to, especially if you've got a lower price a bigger price like 7 or 8 to 10. It's time to cover. You can probably arb yourself out of this game, but I'd be very scared if I had a lot of money on the Sharks here.
Well, I must admit, I saw Henrik reach for a drink, and I'm guessing it was a brandy and coke. And I mean, when he was listening to you there, he must have thought, have we reviewed the same game? Yeah. So it's going to be very interesting, that one. A man shaking his head. Now, we're going to find out in a second why he's shaking his head. Couch, are you shaking your head at the Oracle's confidence in the Bulls? What's the story?
Brent, that came as a heck of a surprise. I thought Oracle was teeing it up for a big Sharks play there. I was getting ready to be the word of wisdom here to say, listen, just hold your horses. I'm not quite convinced on the Sharks team, and then Oracle went the other way. So I don't know. Now I'm just completely sitting on the fence here. To me, it's in a tight derby game like this, it's about the tight 5. It always is in the Bulls. They've got a considerable tight 5. Lizo Kaboka, Andries Ferreira, and Jandre Creer playing there. It's probably better than the Sharks tight 5. So that concerns me big time. It's a great Sharks backline, and they look good on paper. And if they fire, they'll be better. But again, it's almost like a wet game. And even though he's probably well past his best, Mornay Steyn knows about dictating a game from 10. When it's not going to be a pretty match. So honestly, I'm hoping with my heart the Sharks win this, and punting wise, I'll take the Sharks 1-7. I think they'll hopefully just sneak it at the end there with the Bulls running out of lungs, hopefully, and in the heat. But yeah, this one's too close to call as well. It might be a tough one for your Super Group.
Right, so we got Gavin standing strong on the Sharks. Just having a look at some of the comments. Most of the people going for the Sharks. Gav, you want to add something there?
Yeah, I was just going to say, in 2011, I had a bit of a punt on Butch James going to the Rugby World Cup. And somebody was sitting next to me, and he started singing, and he said, Mornay Steyn is on the plane. And I got to say, I'm remembering that now. I don't care how old Mornay Steyn is. Mornay Steyn's on the plane. He's coming to Durban, and I like him. I've always liked him, and I think he's going to dictate the game, just like you said. And you know what? Of course, the Sharks can win this game. I just don't think they will. And there's a lot of value on the Bulls here. And it's going to be a tough match for the Sharks. And if it's close, that means the Bulls not going to score much. I honestly don't see the Sharks scoring more than 15 here. I think this will be a case of a sort of 22-15 to the Bulls. I might even look for some -9 or -10 Bulls at some ridiculous prices. Probably get like 25-1 or something like that. I'll get involved in that. Yeah, I can't see the Sharks scoring a lot against this team. It's going to be very tough for them. It's going to be one up front, and the Bulls certainly have a forward pack for it. And yeah, I just like it. Big price, and they can certainly do it. And just like it.
But I'm just running a quick survey in the live chat there. In what week will Oracle take his next sabbatical? I'm actually tempted to go week 2 after this display from Oracle. But we'll see. Johan Loepje says by the end of Feb. Hendrik says week 4. Guys, let's move on though to Saturdays. Yes, sorry, Couch.
Just on my firstly, I must say I think Oracle might be in the past a little bit with Josh Strauss there. I don't think he's quite as amazing anymore. So that's just one little comment from my side on that one. And then I think maybe you should talk to Gary about pricing up that sabbatical on Oracle there. And I think the odds might be good for about week 3 or 4. But listen, now on the tries, I think I've got Noche as first try scorer at 25-1. Obviously, he plays a loose game. He's got as good a chance as any. And then last try scorer, a lovely little nippy scrum off coming off the bench. Nohamba 25-1 as well. Last try scorer. So those are my little plays there.
And just to confirm, are those up on the Good for the Game site already and under the Bet Olymp blog?
Yeah, that's part of my preview, and I think the hyperlink is there and everything, so they're good to go.
No, I did take a bit of stick last year for always saying to Couch, I haven't read your preview yet, but now I did read your outright preview, but I haven't had a chance to read your match preview. But I will certainly get to that. Let's move on then to the next one. And Couch, I'm going to stay with you here. We go to Saturday morning, and we've got the Sunwolves up against the Rebels. Rebels big favourites here, 17.5, 18.5 points.
Yeah, listen, Brent, I'm going to be honest. I think the Sunwolves team has got they've got no chance in hell of doing anything in this competition. In my outright preview, I said they're not going to win over 1.5 games. I think there's Ben Teo and some guys who can play a bit of rugby, but starting a whole team from scratch is just I don't see it happening. They've got a different coach. I won't say a new coach, but a different coach. And I heard the Japanese, GM or CEO or someone talking about needing to expand the base so that they can improve the national squad. And because the league has been moved out a little bit because of the World Cup, your normal leeches and those kind of guys, sorry, not leeches, just Jack Leach, the player. Those kind of guys aren't going to be involved, Lapis Labuskaghni. So this is, they're going to get absolutely hammered. And I think Korobeti, my top try scorer in the tournament, is hopefully going to get me off to a great start there on Saturday morning.
Sorry about that. We've got some interference. I keep muting myself, but I'm forgetting to put myself back on. But Henrik, going over to you on this one. Sunwolves, I know you don't. I mean, you like Hein, you don't fancy much of them this season.
No, the thing is, Brent, if you've got Reece Page and Golf April as your starting halves, you're in trouble. You're in serious trouble. And 17 points then is not that much. So I expect the Rebels to easily beat the Handicap here. I see the Rebels winning by 30 plus here because it's a great Rebels team. I really like to look after the Rebels team with Matt Temua being 10 now. And that Sunwolves team, there's nothing I like about that team. And especially with the new coach, I don't know much about the new coach. Well, and they haven't got the Islanders guy.
Tony Brown.
And I've always been a fan of Dave Wessels. So especially with Dave Wessels being in his second year now with the Rebels, I'm expecting a really good year from them. He's a great coach. So I think the Rebels on the minus here is a great bet. And with the handicap only being 17, I don't expect the Rebels points to be too high, but mid-30s probably. So I'll be looking at overs on Rebels points here as well.
Well, Pierre Killian making the point that's perfect weather in Japan. Pierre, I'm wondering if you're back over in Japan because I know you were there for the World Cup and seem to travel around quite a bit. And I like the way he says it here in the comments. Tackling will be optional. And let's face it, guys, we do get these games in Super Rugby sometimes. But over to you, Oracle, for your comments on this one. Bearing in mind, you're either going to wake up on Saturday morning in a hell of a good or a hell of a bad mood. Did I mute you, Oracle? Sorry, there we go.
No problem, Brent. Sorry, Shane's just pointed out something. I did leave out my famous catchphrase with regards to the Sharks and Bulls game. It is race over. They might as well put the result in and just pay the punters. Don't even bother going to Kings Park tomorrow. They can just touch up the scoreboard, give it 15-22 to the Bulls, and don't even waste your money going down there. It's not. They're not going to win. Right, let's move on to the Sunwolves. Listen, I'm in agreement with Henrik here. I'm in agreement with everybody. The Sunwolves can get murdered here. They can get done by 35 or 40 points. But you know what? They've won the odd game, and they've come close in a couple of games. And I'm looking at that 6-1. It's the first game up, and I'm going like a quarter unit here on the 6-1 to win the game. Bit of a fun bet for me. I'm not going to get involved in the handicap here. You guys could be 100%, or they could lose by 60. But you know what? It's the first game. It's a new coach, Garth April, new sort of setup. I do agree with Henrik and his Dave Wessels. It is his second year. He was great last year. I'm expecting the Rebels to have a good year this year. But, it's the first game up. Anything can happen. I'm not getting involved in the handicap. Small little quarter unit on Sunwolves to win the game at 6-1 is my call.
Guys, the Oracle's starting to remind me of actually a late friend of mine. He unfortunately passed away a few years ago. We used to drive to the Carousel at about 2 o'clock on a Saturday morning after jawling the night before. We'd drive to the Carousel. And in those days, we were students. We're talking about in the sort of mid-90s. I would lose, say, 300 or 400 Rand, having taken 100 Rand to spend. And I'd be driving home, and he'd have 20 Rand that he won on, and he would wave that 20 Rand in my face the whole way back. And that's going to be Oracle with his quarter unit on the Sunwolves, I think, at that price. But anyway, Oracle on the Sunwolves said, let's go on to the next game. It's the Crusaders minus 18.5. And Oracle, let me stay with you. Let's start off with you on this one. Crusaders against the Waratahs, minus 18.5 points. It's a big handicap, but is it big enough for the Waratahs against the Crusaders?
I feel it's a bit too big, Brent. I'm a sort of small to medium player here on the Waratahs. Plus 18.5 in game one. It just feels too high. I always remember that game where they were leading 28 or 29-0. Ended up losing 32-29 or whatever. They lost by 3 or 4 points at the end. That just springs to mind. The Crusaders will win this game. I don't think the Waratahs got any chance of winning it. But I certainly feel it'll be a little bit closer. But I'm not getting heavily involved here. This is seriously 1 to 2 units. That's all. Small bet for me.
Right, 1 to 2 units there for Oracle. Let's go down to Couch Critic and get his opinion.
Brent, it's not difficult to remember the times that the Crusaders lose because it doesn't happen often. So that does make sense. I think I've picked the Waratahs as well to have a struggling season. I don't rate them this year. They weren't good with Falau and some bigger names in there. Now they don't have them. Adam Ashley Cooper and those kind of guys. I think they're gonna stink up this campaign. Yeah, I don't see anything from them. But it's the first game, and getting close to 20 points is a lot, and you never know. The Crusaders traditionally start slow, so to me this handicap isn't the way to go. I'll just get creative again and go for some try scorers. Makaleo to score the first try from Hooker, and Wetu Douglas at 8 might be a runner for any time or something like that. But you can go for a little bit the lower minus into a few alternatives like that Sunwolves lower. The Rebels lower handicap, that could be an option as well. But to me, I'd probably just stay out of this one and look for something exotic.
Excellent. Let's bring Henrik in on this game. Then Henrik, which way are you leaning?
I'm on the plus here as well. I expect the Waratahs to have a tough season, but looking at the teams, I'm not that. This is not a great Crusaders team. They're wasting a few guys. It's not. I haven't been. I'm not impressed by the team they picked. They still got Razor as the coach, so that's a bit of a concern. But not a big bet. But I like the plus here on the Waratahs. And the Waratahs, they have a pretty good record against the Crusaders. A few years back, they beat them regularly. And I remember 2 years ago, they ran that big lead, like I think 29-5 or something like that.
I remember that one, yeah.
The Crusaders came back and they won something like 31-29 or something like that. So and especially with the first game, I like the Waratahs on the plus, but like I said, not strong yet.
Right, and Shane's going to be sending us a spreadsheet with some Six Nations stats. And guys, we will be talking Six Nations at the end of this once we get the Super Rugby games done. We've got 2 more games, though, and I'm going to bounce straight down to you, Couch Critic, while Henrik pops off to get himself a brandy and Coke. He's preparing himself for Oracle to go against another one of his picks. And this is the Stormers up against the Hurricanes. Now, there's been a lot of money for the Stormers. It was 12 to 10 earlier in the week. Now, I see no bigger now, Couch, than 8 to 10 the Stormers. And the question is whether this money is spot on, or whether this is a little bit more like the Shark, and where Gavin's going to be saying, no, boys, you're making a mistake.
Yeah, Brent, I've been plowing into the Stormers for the last 2 weeks and taking them into any kind of multiples that I've been taking. So I was a little bit surprised when I think Heinrich or someone said it, or someone else in the group said that it was a stronger Hurricanes team than expected. And I must agree with that. I was hoping for a few more to be rested and Joey Barrett probably to not start. So it's a heck of a back line. I know Heinrich isn't big on Ben Lamb, but Lau Mape, Proctor, and Geordie there, that's danger all across the park. And to be honest, this people are talking about the Stormers going all the way and that kind of thing. It's a very inexperienced Super Rugby backline out of the Stormers. Sinatla is still new to 15-man rugby, especially at that level. Ruan Nel as well, and Jamie Roberts new into the setup. Damian Willems still hasn't convinced me as a fly-off yet in big games. So, a heck of a lot of question marks about that Stormers backline, but I'm putting my faith in the forwards. No, that's a solid, it's a possible Springbok tight 5 and even some possible Springboks on the bench there for them. So Stormers for the forwards to do the business. So I'm half-time, full-time Stormers, and I'm Stormers obviously outright into a few multiples. So that's the way I'm going. I'm pretty firm on the Stormers in this one, and it's one of my better bets.
You want us to come back for try score a bet at the end? What we chatted about?
I can go now if you want.
Yeah,
Jaco Coetzee, I'm backing Jaco Coetzee to have a fantastic season. So anytime try score there for me, because I'm going for Bongi to roll over from the maul as first try scorer. So that's where I'm going first, and Jaco anytime.
Right, let's go up to the Oracle. And when I say up at the top of the screen, Oracle, you got a surprise for Couch on this one? You going for Hurricanes?
I am actually up, Brent. I'm at 620 meters above sea level. I got a nice little app that tells me exactly where I am, one of these altitude things. So yes, I am up. I'm not quite as high as Joburg, but I'm certainly not on the beachfront. So anyway, yeah, look, Stormers, I like them in this game. I do. Hurricanes have, and I got to tell you, statistically, Hurricanes, I don't think have ever started the Super Rugby well. Whenever they go to Australia, they lose their first game. They come here, they lose their first game. I wouldn't get involved in Hurricanes. This is Stormers or no bet for most of you. I certainly wouldn't touch Hurricanes. I think any price here probably down to about 6 to 10, -3 or -4. A little bit of value for the Stormers. They could even win this game by 10. This is a medium bet for me. It's just most of it is the Stormers look very good, and the Hurricanes just don't start well. And the last thing I was going to say is I think this is probably the best the Stormers will do for the rest of the season. I don't think they'll qualify. One of my long-term bets here is Stormers not to make the playoffs. I don't think they'll make it. They'll probably start off quite well, and then it'll just fade off like it always does every year. Well, it has done for the last 3 or 4 years. So long-term, I'm not confident in the Stormers, but in this game, I do think they'll win this game, and I think they'll win it reasonably comfortably.
Right, well, let's bring Henrik in. But before we bring Henrik in, I've got to say that I asked everybody when Gavin would be taking his sabbatical. And given how much he dislikes all of my fancies, maybe the other question should be, when will I take my sabbatical? So I'm not sure I'm going to have money left by the end of February at this stage. Henrik, what do you make of this game?
Yeah, Brent, I'm 100% with Gavin here. He's like he saw my notes. I don't like the Stormers this season either. I know you backed them, Brent, 25 to 1, you said. And I know Gary said in the previous show he likes the Stormers as well for the season, but I don't like the Stormers for the season. I'm with Gavin. I don't expect the Stormers to make the playoffs. This is two teams that I'm going to look to take on through the season. I think the Stormers, their pack should be good enough to win this game, so I like the Stormers in this game. But yeah, the Hurricanes, their preparation hasn't been good with losing the coach halfway through the preseason. I see Perenara is starting, but with the All Black protocols, you'll probably just play the first half. So with the New Zealand teams, you also in the first 3 weeks you have to take into account that some of the All Blacks players can only play a certain amount. I think it's 180 minutes over the course of the first 3 weeks. And they said they ideally it would be 40 minutes in the first game, 60 in the next, and then 80 in the third one. But yeah, I like the Stormers. I think they would be the pack is strong enough to kill the Hurricanes, and that's where they won the game. And I was glad to see Jaco van Zyl in the team. So I'm with Couch there. I'm a big fan of Jaco van Zyl. Two players I'm really looking forward to this season is Jaco Coetzee, and then James Venter from the Sharks. I'm expecting a very good season from him as well. I think that's a great signing. They took him from the Lions. So I'm in the Stormers camp here now. Even with it being a 3:00 game, I'll have a look at unders for Hurricanes points here as well. 100 points front.
Anything to add there, Couch?
No, nothing from me. I had my try scorer of Jaco Coetzee anytime, and first try scorer Bongi. So and to the conductor there, yes, Bongi Mbanambi, I think, is my first hooker call. So the first time I'm showing some love, I've actually backed the scrum halves more to start the campaign.
Right, Couch, let's stay with you, though, as we go on to the next game. It's the final match of the weekend, and that is going to be the Jaguares up against the Lions, taking place in the early hours of Sunday morning. And before we move on, just to mention that I will be doing the handicap videos on Sunday mornings as well, and sometimes linking up with the likes of GG Gaming, who are going to be coming up early with their caps. So look out for those. But let's get back to this game. There's been big line movement here, Couch. -6.5. I know the conductor, who's now live in the comments, having done a bit of work for a change, he was very, very strong on the -6.5. Betting Stig was also strong on it, and they forced the line up here to 10.5. Is it about right now?
It's probably about right, but there's just no price that I'm backing the Lions at. It had to be 14 plus for me to consider the Lions. I think I've been probably knocking the teams tonight, and the Lions are another one. I actually wish the bookies came out to finish bottom in pools. I don't know why they haven't, because I would have taken the Lions to be the bottom of this pool. I think they've got no hope. It's a very young team. They've struggled traditionally when going over to Argentina to such a degree that Akkers just didn't even consider it a fair fight. He just didn't take the guys, and I think these youngsters are going to find something different when they land in Buenos Aires. They didn't go a long time in advance. I think they're going to be hit hard, and it could get ugly. Luckily for them, it's probably the first game of the season, so they're still going to be chipper, and the Jaguares might not be absolutely in their stride. But to me, when it was under 8.5, it was money for jam for me. To me, it was Jaguares and Stormers I kept loading up in the week. 10.5 is a bit more cheeky, but I'll take a lesser handicap into a lesser one for the Rebels, and that's probably my best bet of the weekend.
Right, well, let's get Gavin back on there. Gav, this final game, will you be up? When you're going out on Saturday night, will you be waking up for this one? There's, of course, the Sydney Sevens. I'm guessing this game will run quite nicely into the early matches of the Sydney Sevens.
Yeah, so my kid was born, my oldest son was born on the 1st of February 2003, which was Met Day. And it's Met Day again, 1st of February. So my kid's having a birthday party. It's up the road. I've got to fetch him at 1 o'clock in the morning. I told him the Lions game's at 1. I'll fetch him at 1:45. He asked me to come at 1:30. I said, I'm coming at 1:45. I'll fetch you. Otherwise, you've got to find your own way home. So I'm going up the road to fetch my kid. Coming back, going to watch the game. Listen, Cat's Mug, a.k.a. Steve Reed over there, early on in the show. In fact, the show's been going for 37 minutes and 30 seconds. So around about the 3 or 4 minute mark, made a comment saying that it's going to be a tough one for me. And he's 100% right. I made a lot of money on the Jaguares last year. They just, I called them right. I read them right. And you guys are right. This is a young Lions team. I'm not 100% impressed with this Jaguares team. And I'm going to tell you that I didn't get on earlier this week. The lower minuses of sort of 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever you guys got, there's certainly some value in that. But at the same time, I've got to say, now that we're hitting the 10s, when this handicap gets to 12.5, I'm becoming a Lions punter again. It will be small, and it's got no bias on the team. I just think that it's just a little bit hard for the first game. A lot of this first game stuff, and I've made money in the past on the first week and the first week of the Curry Cup. Often bookmakers do knee-jerk reactions, and like one of the guys mentioned on the comments earlier, it's a lot of them are making prices on what happened last year and the year before. And although we make predictions on similar kind of things, you got to be a bit more current with your stuff. And I think, as Hein just said now, plus 14, I'm definitely a Lions punter. Plus 12.5, I'm getting in. And 11.5, with an hour to go before the game, I'll make a decision. But right now, I'm on the fence. I haven't made a decision. If this handicap comes back down again to sort of the 6 or 7 level, I may be a Jaguares punter. Right now, I'm on the fence. I'm not touching anything until it gets to the 6 or the 12. So either way, and that's how I'll play.
Hands up anyone who's confused after that, I must say as well. No, Gab, I got the message that you're very much on the fence in this game. And we could well see some more handicap line movement. But let's get Henrik's opinion on this one. And Henrik, will you be up and about in the early hours? I know you're not a big Sevens fan, so you won't be staying up for that, I don't think.
No, I won't watch the Sevens. But I'm not that keen on the Sevens. If the game kicked off at the 20 to 12 time that they had it on, I would probably have watched, but 1 o'clock on Sunday morning, I'm probably going to miss this one. And just if I could get back the money I've lost on Jaguares home games at just before midnight on a Saturday night, I could probably go on a nice holiday. This fixture normally loses me money. This is a tricky one for me. I'm on the fence here as well. I'm not sure which way to go. I'm not that. I know not most guys are strong on the Jaguares here. I was actually, when I looked at the squads about 3-4 weeks ago, I was a bit surprised that the Lions squad looked better than I expected to me. So I think that they will probably not be that bad as most expect. And the Jaguares, you never know what to expect from them, especially at home. It's always for me as if they tend to do better away from home when they're on tour and they get close to each other on tour, and they do better in New Zealand and over there. So yeah, this is a tough one. If pushed, I'll probably take the minus, but I'm not strong here. The ref here is Rasta, and I label him as one of the best overs refs, and the conditions will be perfect. So I'll probably look, and we all know the Lions like to play open game. They're not that strong in the defense, so I'll probably look at overs here on total points just to have something on the game. But I'm not very strong here on the handicap.
Yeah, possibly I'm leaning maybe overs Jags points there as well, because I do agree. I see the Lions potentially leaking some points there. Anything else on this game, guys, before we wrap Super Rugby up?
I think the only thing is I don't think the team markets were available for the betting sites yet, but obviously Julian Montoya there at hooker. There's another one for Brendan Wessels, one of the hookers who should have a good chance of getting over as a first try scorer.
Excellent. Well, I'm sure Couch Critic, we were talking a while ago about writing betting books, and Gavin was saying he's going to write one. I'd love to know the name of Couch's book, Hookers from Around the World, or something along those lines. We still got to go back and find that clip that we played of you, but let me bring Gav in there. Gav, what do you reckon?
Han, you and your hookers, mate, are going to be an absolute chapter in my book, not just a page. I've got so much on you. I just keep recording it. You'll be on there. But jokes aside, on my trip now, and I do have to apologize to Henrik, because when I went past Jeffrey's Bay, he was on holiday there. I was really in a rush. I didn't get past to see you. I would have liked to. But I did spend a couple of hours with Han in George. It was nice to get to meet him face to face. And let me tell you, what a champion. He took me to a nice little pub, had a nice pizza. I loved it, had a couple of beers. Was fantastic. So if you're ever in George, look him up. He'll look after you. It was a great evening.
I'm pleased you ended the evening there. I don't go into all the detail where you guys went looking for Han's favorite pastime after that, no doubt. But anyway, guys, let's Super Rugby. Let's talk about our Super Rugby best bets quickly.
Sorry. I've got one more thing to say. So, Han, you were quite strong on the Stormers. Do you want to have an even 500? The Lions beat the Stormers for the season on the log.
Yeah, sure, no problem. I think I'm probably gonna hit yellow cap with a bet on Sharks beating the Bulls, and I'll take you Stormers beating the Lions at whatever you want to do.
No, we'll do an even 500 for the season. So log points, whoever finishes higher on the regular season log. Okay, so before the playoffs or whatever it is. Lions versus Stormers.
100%. Just remember, Gavin. Last time, that's why you ended up buying me a few beers in George. So you better be coming down to George again.
I know.
I'd forgotten about all the even 500 bets of Gavin. I mean, I guess it's only right of me as host of the show to ask which was the game where we had the big difference, the Sharks Bulls. Yeah. Maybe a little wager on the between you and Henrik there, perhaps an even 500.
100%. What is the handicap? 5.
4.5. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do 4. Okay, we'll do 4 Tino bets. If it lands on 4, there's no 3 or lower, I'm a winner. 5 or more, you're a winner. Even 500, you're done.
Excellent, and the odds of the sabbatical of Gavin's are coming in all the time. Okay, let's talk best bet before we touch on this on the rugby. Couch your best bet in Super Rugby.
Brent, mine was the Jaguares earlier in the week at about 5.5, 6.5. At this stage, I'll take that same kind of line, 4.5, and I'll double that into the Rebels at 13 minus 13.5 or something like that. Whatever gives you just about 12 to 10. So to me, that's the way to go. And then you can even in a treble throw in the Stormers for the win.
Right, Henrik, your best bet in the Super Rugby?
The Reds on the plus, Brent. I'm expecting Reds to win, so I'll take the Reds on the best plus.
Right, and Gavin, I haven't muted you on this occasion. What's your best bet in Super Rugby?
Yeah, Bulls, and you can seriously look for a big minus here. You can take anything from minus for the sort of 4 or 5. I think they'll win this game by double digits. I really do. 7, 8, or from 7 upwards. So minus, probably end up at about -6 would be the lowest I'd take here. I will look for some -9 and -10. I do think they can win this game comfortably. I don't think the Sharks will score a lot of points.
Excellent. Well, you got it scrolling down below. The Good for the Game newsletter, that'll be out in the morning. I'll combine some of the guys' bets in an accumulator. It's going to be a bit awkward to combine Gavin and Hendrik's bets. I can tell you that's virtually impossible on some of the games. But we'll have the best bets, and we'll have the best bet from the show out there as well. But guys, we've got time to chat a little bit of Six Nations before we finish off. The first game I was just having a look at now is Wales up against Italy. And Henrik, let me start with you. I don't know how much you've looked at the Six Nations, and we don't have to spend a lot of time on it if you haven't. But we got Wales here -23.5 against the Italians.
Yeah, Brent, unfortunately, I'm so excited about Super Rugby. I haven't had a proper look at the Six Nations. So I'm going in a bit cold on the Six Nations. So I'll probably try and have a look tomorrow. But I've had a look at the betting. 23.5 points. Wales around. They've got a new coach, Critic. So I think Italy on the plus is the right way to go here, especially with it being the first game. And Italy, they looked all right in the World Cup. Well, not against the Box, but they had a few all right games. And I just feel the plus is the right way to go here on this game. But yeah, on either of these Six Nations, I'm not very strong because I haven't done a lot of research on it.
Couch, you've looked at the Six Nations?
Yeah, Brent, just quickly for me, I think England are uncontested there in the outright. I've thrown them into a few multiples, into like BB, Big Bash, outright winner and things like that. I don't see England being stopped. To me, all the rest of the teams have got something going on. You know, France still needs to take a step up with that young team. Wales got a new coach. Ireland just aren't quite where they were, and we don't even have to discuss Italy. And the Scots are the Scots. So to me, it's England. England, as Oracle would say, put the result in. I think they're winning the Six Nations, so that should be easy. And then I've actually seen South post one there for tournament MVP, you know, player of the tournament, and he's got Intermark at 25-1, which I think is a great shout. I know I'm saying England are going to win, which means they probably won't go for someone outside of them, but you know, at 25-1, you can't get hurt, and I think he's going to have a great tournament, and he's a fantastic player. And you could even have Pino as top try scorer at I think maybe something like 10-1 or something like that, because the French should play a good expansive game of rugby, so that should be good. And then in terms of the Welsh team, I see it's quite interesting. They've got George North at outside centre there. Toby Faletau is back at 8, so it's a good Welsh team. This Ken Owens still at hooker, so it's a strong team, and they shouldn't have too much of a problem. I saw someone in the comments there. I think it's Etienne. He said Pellegrini, great guy. I love Pellegrini as a try scorer as well. And I must say, at that 9.5, it does look good. But it's Italy, and I don't expect him to score a heck of a lot of tries. So that does make your anytime try scorer a little bit more difficult, because you don't expect him to get more than one. So it's tough for him to be the only try scorer. But I love Pellegrini and the way he plays.
Right, let's go to Gavin now. Gav, bringing you in on the Six Nations. Have you looked at it?
I have, Brent. I always enjoy these. I used to call them 10-game weekends with the 7 Super Rugbies and the 3 Six Nations. So you're quite busy the whole weekend. I know that they always chuck in a Sunday game. I saw Henrik made a comment about that the other day. I don't mind if they spread these games over 3 days. I quite like it. At least there's something to watch on Sunday. So I do enjoy the Six Nations. This is quite a tough weekend start up. Looking at this Wales game. Italy are just so rubbish. I've taken a small Wales minus bet here. I'm not, I don't like taking big minuses. But this particular game, I do think Wales are a little bit stronger than what people think they might be, and I think Italy are a little bit worse than what people think they will be. Italy were completely rubbish in that World Cup. Just a small minus punt for me here. With regards to the Ireland-Scotland game, I'm taking a small Scottish plus. And again, I'm using a bit of World Cup form here. I don't think Ireland were great. Excuse me. I know that Scotland weren't great either. Just feels too big, a double-digit plus. Small punt on Scotland. And, I hate punting the French. And I always say I'm never going to punt them again. But I'm going with France here. I'm going with France on the board I think I got 16 at 10. Small punt as well, but out of the Six Nations, it's certainly my best bet. I think that a lot of these prices are derived by bookmakers in England that have so much money on their team and often are overpriced. In fact, England are often overpriced, just like New Zealand and the Crusaders. And a lot of the time, the plus is value. And in this case, France at home, I think they'll win this game, not by much, a couple of points. So maybe even Heinz 1-7 or 1-12 might be an option, but I've backed France to win the game. Small or medium bet for me.
Certainly going against the conductor, Brendan Vessels, who's big on England against France. He reckons they are going to be an amazing side. Will take time to gel. I wrote an article for the Citizen newspaper a couple of weeks ago, and I said, take 50 Rand every week and go put it on France for the World Cup 2023. By the time the World Cup rolls around, you'll be standing to win about 80 or 90,000, hopefully. But anyway, I see them as massive runners there. Guys, just to mention, if you're not involved, and I know not everyone's Super Brew players, but if you're not involved in our comps couch, I got your payment today for the 500 Rand competition. We've got 40-odd confirmed paid up at the moment, so everything goes back out as prizes, but it's going to relate to at least a 13, 14 grand first prize. So do get involved. Details on the Good for the Game forum, or just email me, brent@goodforthegame.co.za. And also our free one sponsored by World Sports Betting. We've got quite a lot of voucher prizes there, and that's in the World Sports Betting pool. So I hope to see you there. And it's going to be a cracking weekend. Couch, I'll start with you. Thanks for coming on the show. What are you most looking forward to this weekend, aside from Super Rugby? What other sporting event are you looking forward to?
Geez, Brent, is there any other sport happening apart from Super Rugby? That's what it's about, man. I've been waiting for this for a long time. So I think tomorrow they might. I've actually got a meeting now that I think about it. Tomorrow morning that Chiefs Blues was going to be a cracker, so I think I've got to watch that on catch up or something. That's going to be, New Zealand playing New Zealand to me is always fantastic, and seeing the skill that they've got and some youngsters. I think this season the big thing is seeing those youngsters come from the ITM Cup and or the Mid-10 Cup. That's going to be great, and so we want to see the next stars and some of the Aussies as well. I've heard quite a bit of talk up that there's some really skilled young Aussies coming through, and I mean, despite what I've usually say about them, it'll be good to see a bit of improvement from the Aussies and a team like the Reds.
Right, Henrik, yourself, anything other than the rugby catching the eye?
No, I'll just focus on the rugby, Brent. I'm not that big on the horse racing, so I'll probably not watch a lot of Met. I'm not big on the sevens, and there's the cricket. The ODIs only starting next week. The other two Six Nations games, small bet on the plus, Scotland to me plus 12 or 13.5, and then I like France. I took some 16-1 France to win the tournament last year. And I like France to beat England, even though it's a young team, and I've read all the talk from Eddie Jones and stuff. But the French, I like them in Paris, and I like them to win the game. And Gavin mentioned the Sunday game with them playing on Sunday. I like the Sunday game as well, but I just would have liked this one to be at 9:30 on a Saturday evening. That would be very nice, just before the Jags game. Yeah, and then the other one, there's one other game, the Cheetahs and the Kings.
Oh yes, I forgot about that.
I didn't see last week's game. I was on a fishing trip. We had a monthly fishing camp for our club, so I didn't see any rugby. But I saw the highlights, and I saw the Cheetahs stole the game. So the plus came through easily there, but see the handicap is 17.5 here, and even though it's in Bloom, that looks way too big to me. So I like the Kings and the plus again.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Henrik. I like this king side. I thought they were unlucky not to beat the Cheetahs last time. I was on the plus, but I also had a small bet on the board as well. I'm not sure they can beat the Cheetahs in Bloom, but I do think that handicap is too high. Have not been impressed with the Cheetahs. Gavin, Oracle, give us a final word on the show.
I saw a little bit of a banter about the NFL, and again, because my kid was born on the 1st of February, it's NFL weekend most years. I've had a small punt on the San Francisco 49ers. I don't know too much about American football, but I like to get involved because it's part of my kids' sort of weekend. And so I always have a go there. Small punt on them. With regards to the sevens, I know I wasn't on your show earlier, and I wasn't in great form last week. Coming back, I had a small little loss. This particular first 8-game stretch, I got to tell you, there's massive value in Argentina beating South Africa. Initially, I suggested on the WhatsApp group that you go with a plus here, but I've since reverted that. I've had a decent strike on Argentina to win the game. The other one I'm very interested is France minus against Samoa. I think France will win that game comfortably, at least by 2 tries, so sort of 10 upwards. So there's a lot of value there for me as well. Other than that, I'll probably catch the Australian Open tennis final, enjoy my tennis, and there's lots to watch this weekend. And after I picked up my kid and watched the Lions game, I'll stay up the rest of the night and watch the sevens. So Saturday I'll probably go to bed a little bit earlier and probably get 3 or 4 hours, and then I'll do some Buyer Plus in the morning and enjoy Sunday, sleep until the French game, go to sleep again. So it'll be rugby, sleep, tennis, sleep, something like that.
Excellent. Oracle, I'm going low on total hours slept for you this weekend. That's for sure. Guys, thanks very much. It's been I'm going to call this an opening show. We've done other shows, but really the Super Rugby is what it's all about. You can see the excitement. Thanks very much to the guys in the live chat as well. You could feel the enthusiasm there. We're looking to get stuck into the bookies. Oracle, thanks very much. Have a cracking weekend. And we'll see you soon.
Guys, thanks very much.
Couch, thanks a lot. Enjoy your meeting tomorrow. Probably your second one of the year, so I hope that goes well. And Henrik, enjoy Friday night's game. I think you're going to make it even 500 off the Oracle.
Thanks, Brent, as well. Thanks. Great to be back in the show, and I'm very excited for the Super Rugby.
Excellent. Guys, thanks very much to all of you in the live chat. Remember to enter our Super Brew competitions. Go into the newsletter as well. And there was something else that I wanted to mention, but anyway, I can't remember what that is now, so we'll pick it up. But thanks very much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next week, same time at 9 o'clock.